Hello, everybody. Welcome to Keeping It Spiritually Simple. I am Sandra, your host, and today it is my honor to introduce someone I've been working with for some time now, Jenny Lee. She is a seer and a remote viewer on many different levels. And instead of me trying to introduce her with a paragraph of all of her renowned things, I'm just going to let her start in on the meat and potatoes of what's happening today. Welcome, Jenny.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
You're welcome.
It's been pleasant. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things going on, so I don't think there's just categories that we work in. I think spirit puts us in other subjects and we end up following what they need us to work on. So I think we're kind of scattered a lot now of where we need to go, what we need to do. So there's not a one thing or specific things. I think it's all in a collage of information as it's presented. I think that's changed.
Well, I like the word collage because collage is always, it can be so many things. When you said collage, I'm seeing this giant flower with all these different flowers that grow all these different times of the year in all these different places. And also I think of tapestry, like when you make a blanket and you're cutting out all these layers from all these different things that have meaning or new meaning, and it makes it all new. So we are in this information highway of all kinds of things from all different levels coming in. So I know that you've touched base on that in our group and other things. So please feel free to take the floor.
So the thing is, I think right now, like I've talked to several people about this because Spirit has presented it, that our spiritual contracts for 3D has ended and we're going into new contracts. So I'm doing private sessions for those, and each individual is finding out their new contract, but also our spirit guides are ones that are behind us, protecting us, giving us knowledge. Those ones are too stepping out and being replaced in a different format too. Because people don't think about the job they've been doing. They're not going to be with us forever. They're going to be with us in this dimension. Another dimension is going to change on how they interpret our information and how we interpret information to them. So a lot of things are being replaced for, just for evolving and changing. And it's not something in the future that we have to lean on people to get the information. We can self-evolve into connecting with spirit now and getting that connected and nourished, and I think that's what spirit has always wanted. So, whether I work in missing persons cases, where I'm working in artifacts, whether I'm just channeling up through the keys or channeling up to overcreators, but all it is about an information source to make sure it goes to the person it needs to go to, or the soul that it needs to. So I think we're just at these incredible times of what we were taught is supposed to be a false narrative, and now we're looking at it and go, well, that was actually real, and that was actually right. So we are stepping back behind the plate of glass now and going, I guess we have to analyze everything and look at things a different way now.
Yeah, so I also think, for a lack of a better expression, everything's changing, veils are thinner, whatever everybody wants to call it, that we're also are deprogramming what we've been programmed, that everything is outside of us and we have to go through someone else in order to get the information. And so now we're able to reach in and get it within ourselves. However, a lot of people on this beginner part of this path who still hang on to fragments of that belief system need to make appointments with someone like you or me that helps them get to the next level so they begin to trust themselves.
Right.
So exactly. Are we saying that's also occurring?
Yes, it is occurring. Big time. So as you can tell, I'm on a farm.
It's okay. I love it.
Animals and dogs and cows and horses and all that stuff here. So they wait till on air and then they start this.
Yes, that's okay. No worries.
So the thing is Can you pause for a moment? Because I can't deal with her barking 24/7. We bark. Pause for a second. But I don't want to do
Okay, so where were we?
that. So on the contracts of spirituality, how that's changing out and how you're able to evolve with source going straight up now, well, which I taught you with the the universal line, because that's what they've always wanted. They don't want man or politicians or anything in the way of the connection with you and spirit anymore. They're like, it's going to be us as a team working together, not someone else's fake religion or something coming in and trying to ask for a handout in between that, So seeing that in a lot of communities, that they're in the way of that connection. So I think that's going to end, and I'm already seeing those type of societies dissipate and dwindle and dismantle. So it's starting.
Yeah, you know what else I'm seeing too, Jenny, is those who were on the early bandwagon, about all this information, and whether it was, regarding space or regarding beings or regarding this or regarding that. A lot of these narratives are hitting the repeat button over and over and over again. So every time you listen to a show or you hear something, it's almost like, okay, there's not a lot of new material there. So a lot of people are waking up to, hey, maybe they're not all totally connected. So, one of the things I preach a lot about is distractions. And so a lot of people who are hitting the repeat button can't tell you they're hitting the repeat button. So they create an attraction for a distraction. So
Right.
I suggest that people are very careful, not only to what they listen to and who they follow, but what workshops you're taking and where you're going and traveling to listen to certain people and what you're really going to gain if you do go. And don't break the bank over it. If it's going to break the bank or anything else, I suggest people take a step back and understand, as Jenny's saying, we're so much more connected now and getting information that we really have to put the brakes on the programming that everyone else has the information. But a lot of these people that were on this early bandwidth aren't getting new information. And those people who have been a little quieter are starting to get more information. I know I feel like I'm that way. So I really strongly suggest that people are careful with who's attracting them and is it a distraction? Does that make sense?
Oh, completely. And so the thing is we're, it's really funny, and I call it the Trump syndrome, because the thing is everybody jumped on that bandwagon, and his name and title brought in a lot of money and being close to, information, which you're seeing across the board, they're not. And it brings in profit. So as that brings in profit, but then the people are more confused. Like I tell people, if you're not getting the information within 2 minutes, get out of it, because it's not going to nourish you. If it hasn't started at the beginning, at the end of this, you're probably going to be frustrated. So if you're frustrated from the beginning, you're probably going to be frustrated at the end. There's just an energy that tells you you're in the right place and you're listening to the right person. You need to listen to that, because a lot of it is just egotistical, only me, I. That it doesn't process, and alien versions, spiritual versions, all that stuff. It's just that's not true. And like I tell people, what you are doing now is being seen from every view. And so that will be seen in the light for what you are saying and how are you creating and how you're helping with this development, or if you're just trying to lead them in a circle. Yeah. So, and that's the thing. I believe that, and I think of everything that I say and how I say it, because it's analyzed. So, that stuff, just like in time, just fades away and the truth always stands strong. and the lies fall to the side. It's just the way it's going to be. It's just this circle of this is getting, it started like a big circle and there was a lot of information, and now that circle is getting closer and more confined because people are figuring out these are the only ones I can trust to get the true information. The rest are just wanting to push products just completely passive, you know, and they're distracting them from the true information. So, you know, for the ones that are doing that, they just need to stop and just listen to spirit and say, hey, let's just focus on the truth here. That's why we're in a process right now. It's a small circle now.
Yeah, it's getting smaller. You know, when you were saying that, I was getting this vision of like, you know, you go into kindergarten with it's all this anticipation and these big eyes and all this excitement, and then you're learning and before the end of that kindergarten year, you're like, I am so over this and done. I'm ready to get to the next level. And every time you level up, you look back and you go, that was so like ridiculous. Like, what was that? And that's the same thing that's happening here. Is a lot of these people that are spouting and spewing, and I can't even say they're borderline lies, because they're really taking something and creating this fabrication of something that is not, it's a little distorted at this point.
Yeah, it is distorted, and not only that, they're humanizing it. And I mean, as in the product of humanizing, what works with humans and what they consume and what they are triggered by and what they want to buy. And they're trying to push that instead alien division and the spiritual division, and it's not working, you know, it's not working, and it's not in that process, and it's actually an insult. So, I mean, just intelligence process of doing it. I mean, most people that know that you've been doing this for years, there's so many things that they don't care about. You know, one is that one of the biggest things with, I get repeatedly asked this over and over, what timelines, and spirit always comes back. Time. That is a human understanding. We work on seasons and balances, and the humans just cannot accept that. And so I don't put out timelines. I put out the balance points and seasonal interpretations. So it's just, you can't force something that doesn't work. Sure. You can shove it down someone's throat and keep shoving it down the throat. It doesn't mean it's gonna fit in it. It's not going to show the documentation. It's not going to show its true colors on it. So it's something that is steady, consistent, and shows the truth. It unfolds, and it keeps unfolding. The lies just keep falling, and they keep falling, and they don't connect. And that's the whole thing about this, is they're observing this in big eyes and looking down going, no, that's not right. No, that's not us either. But it's their mind that it's them. So, I mean, it's all going to come to the point in which it is coming.
Yeah. Well, I like what you're saying about time, and it is man-made created. My youngest came in talking to the other side, and growing up, I would say, okay, well, we need to be here at such and such time. She would say this repeatedly from the time she could start speaking. Time. God doesn't make time. There is no time. And I would say, well, tell that to the school bell. You know, tell that to the dinner bell, you know, tell that to the doctor's office, you know. And she used to just be awful with time, and she would always be the latest to everything, because she's like, it doesn't matter. The time doesn't matter. It's what you create within the time frame.
Right. And I'm one that doesn't know time too well, because when I'm doing something, I'm focused on that. And then there's this bell inside that's supposed to be telling me, hey, you got to come back and look at this on this certain balance. I'm like, ugh. So I can honestly say I'm either 10 minutes late, 5 minutes late, or I'm on the wrong day. You know, it happens a lot. So, I mean, it's just part of where our mindset is and what we're seeing. And just like, you know, dealing with a creator, you're thinking there's one potential energy that controls everything and has potential. And I always thought to myself, no, there's got to be more because this is a big job and he's got to have some strength with them. And, and I was, being a part of the council and being, seeing and be able to interpret information from these upper creators, they really look down and just go, man, we still don't get it. It's true. It's true. And they're like, humans make it so hard when it can be very simple in the process. So, we're in a process that the truth is, it's being seen every day. And that circle of truth is shrinking and shrinking. And like I said, it's just going to disappear and they're going to go away with the dusty clouds. It's going to happen. So my now is the more they push money, the more desperate they are.
Well, when I hear things about money, religion, politics, my guides are like, it's got nothing to do with how you need to be in the moment, nothing to do with it. And then you'll have people, oh, I'm going to miss the gravy train if I don't buy this or buy that or feed into this or be fed by this. I'm going to miss the gravy train. It's like, no, once again, that's old programming outside of you. And look at who is telling you that. And the person that's telling you that without fail has links in their description, buy from me, buy from me. So somebody has a string into them saying, we'll give you a link if you preach this, because nobody funds anybody without getting some kind of reward back. Nobody.
Yeah. And that's the thing about it. I would drive myself crazy if I was pushing products left and right. I mean, this is what I said. If you want something from me, you can go to the website and look at it. I am not going to talk about it. You know where it's at. You can access it. What needs to be, but I am not going to drive you nuts and shove it in your face because you know when you need it and you know where to look for it. But overly producting people and overly pushing stuff. I mean, it's gotten ridiculous. It has gotten ridiculous, and so they need to stop on all ends of this process. And it's, to me, if you're really connected, you would know that spirit takes care of you in every way. And they haven't figured that out. They're still in that desperation money mode, that what they need and how outrageous their prices need to be just to consume more and more and more. So, I mean, and I'm actually, to a certain point when everything kind of goes down and numbers, they won't matter. It won't matter no more about your numbers because at the end of the situation, it's about actually stepping up and doing what you've been preaching. You actually got to back it up. And that's at the end of this, when the media when everything is down, when there's completely nothing, that individual soul has to step up and do exactly what they said they were going to do. How many of that percentage is really going to do that?
Yeah.
You,
well, I think the real truthers are very much into, and that's just an expression when I say that, because it's really an innate feeling of what's right and do no harm. But it also creates this whole thing of, you've got to walk your walk. You've got to walk your walk, because at the end of the day, it's not about your clothes or your zip code or the car or the links that you have. It's what you're saying, feeling, and thinking that is what is emanating out there. And that's really what you have and what I want to call God's mirror. If you want to look back at yourself, that's God's mirror. Like, how do you want to present yourself in that mirror?
Right. Exactly. I just think items you wear, you're around them, but down to the core of things, it really doesn't make you happy. That's just a top cover of situation. What the soul is really desire is complete balance of love and light, completely. It has that. It doesn't worry about the outside of it because it knows it can go within to access that. That's the difference. That's a complete difference. And that's why society needs to flip it around and understand that process completely. And so I just, I think even with they're talking about the humanitarian projects they're doing in tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The thing is I think people are getting into human concept that they're just going to get all this funding and they're just going to hand it over. Oh no, they're not. They're not. It's foul proof. There's nothing you can do to con it, to manipulate your way around it, or it's going to what it's supposed to be gone to, which is society for those projects.
Mhm.
And everybody thinks there's some way they can get around. They're not, because they'll be in jail quicker than ever. And
Well, that just reminds me, there was a group that I know, and I'm not going to mention any names of any kind, but the big thing was you send us all your ideas and we're going to create funding for it. Not even mentioning where they're getting the funding. And I'll be daggone if a lot of these groups did not get together and turn around and start giving up all their ideas until finally one day at I forget what it was, a meeting or something, I said to everybody, what are you all doing? Who do you think's going to take all your ideas? That you give them to them, someone's going to take them, and then they're going to turn it around and create it so it was never your idea and you'll never get the funding. Sorry, I got to look for my computer plug while you're going to talk here.
Yeah, and that's about it. And then I think with this, I've already said that quantum system is still it's you can't get into it, and it's a mindset concept. It's ahead of your steps of doing any type of scamming, identifications, cell phones that'll self-combust if we even try it. So I mean, it's proof across the board. I saw that 4 or 5 years ago in a dream that they were showing me. There's no way they can hijack this system. But they're going to try, and they're going to look like fools doing it. But down to the core of you, your true intentions are going to be seen, like literally seen, because they know the core of what you're really after, and that will be shown. So I feel right now they are starting to filter those out. They are really filtering out, and it's going to it's going to be a small group of humanitarians that are in it for the real process of it. And then all these ones that thought it was a quick money scheme for them. No, you've been trained too much by the rhinos. And that's not going to happen. There's not going to be it's not only that. After this situation is implemented, your time and your effort and your energy is going to be spent to make sure that this stays at a balanced point. This is not an easy road. This is going to be work, period, across the board. So, and that's what the people are not understanding. You're going to have to work in a different way for humanity soon, in a different concept. You won't be in front of the TV. You won't be in front of the computer looking at it. You won't have the time to do that. We're re-evolving and changing this world, and it's going to take physical effort and time and mental capability.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
And
I apologize having to move my head around. I had to plug my computer back in. It's a new computer, as I was telling you. So sorry for nose diving down into my plug situation there. Which reminds me, it just comes off of what you're talking about is, a lot of us that are really in doing a lot of these changes, I don't work well with electronics. I don't. I find them, I interfere with them, they interfere with me, and I most of the time go running from them. I'm better off out there being of service elsewhere than I am trying to figure out how much time I can get in front of the computer, if I can edit, if I can do this or that. And I'm finding a lot of people who are evolving with contract changes and then the energetics are having some of these issues as well. Would you agree?
Yeah, they are. I mean, I see myself in 6 years, you're just going to find me in a hole in the middle of a field digging up history. I'm serious. I'm like, I'm fine. Leave me alone. That's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. I love it. If you want to call me, the landline's like 5 miles away.
Right?
Send
Exactly.
a horse over with the telegram. I'll come meet you there for the phone call. Or better yet, just ride your horse to wherever I am.
Right.
Horse and
Exactly.
buggy. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
to be part of a community that wants just to be, I call it the sloth, and not doing anything, not changing your health, not doing nothing, just thinking society's going to take care of you. Those days are over. You know, those are over. If you're gonna have to put in, and what you put in, you'll get back. If you don't do anything, no one is going to carry you. That is the truth. So it is all about balance across the board. There's not going to be all these health issues that they're talking about from one extreme to another, because that will all be solved. So there's no excuse anymore. There is stepping up, giving all your energy, just like the rest of the universe, to each colony and each breed of spirit that needs to be presented. And it's like fair across the board. We all have to put our energy in to create and develop and balance.
Yeah, because I think many people are always into that demon savior mentality. Well, guess what? You are the demon. You are the savior of yourself by looking at all of it and doing the work inside out. Period. You got it. It's going to take physical, mental, etheric, energetic, emotional. It's going to take every one of those emotional bodies and then some, because so much more is coming in. I mean, like, just even for me, my sight's changing more, dreams are changing a lot. So can you speak to what some people may be experiencing, that maybe they're not thinking that it's an upgrade or an energetic change within their physicality?
Well, I talked to you, and you know about this. I've been putting it out there about these. They showed these diamonds energy that are just below us now, and they were talking about, you know, the star seeds, the 144. Those have always been watching and observing us, and so you can see those in the lower frequency, you know. And you've seen in the group, people are starting to catch it, you know. And I'm all about verifying it, catch it, verify it. And so now we're in a process of going, what wakes them up is going, I could have accessed this information on my own, and I just didn't realize it, because man has taught me a totally different situation about things and how I needed to look at things. And now they're coming out of it and looking at it and going, no. So, so for yourself, there's a quietness development that goes into the brain. You have this quiet sense, and you're alert and paying attention to every sound and following through with things and not blowing it off into the left brain and going, no, that can't be, I doubt it, that can't happen. You know, all that human programming, people are stepping away from it. And so in 4D, the way I see it in two ways right here, right now, is you see an item, and then behind there, there's a shade of that item. It's coming in a 4D, and it looks different. And so you just have to finally accept it. I think the biggest thing is people's veil of understanding is changing, you know, because it's about acceptance, you know. In the true, is there a reality? We manifest what we need. We manifest what we develop it. We can manifest that. And if we trust it and we have strength in it, and we don't put doubt in it. So I'm not a fear person in any format. And I'm not a person that focuses on that or thinks anything has power over that. And so when you do that, there's a clear path of what you have to get to. All that other thing is just a big distraction in the way. And that's what they love. 3D pyramid. That's like top of the pyramid. But they and so people are slowly thinking on their own again. and
What a
understanding
concept, right?
that all that Hollywood process is 90% done and gone. And that's what cost them. Look where they are. And it's cost them everything and has no meaning where they are now. And so no one wants to be in that process, that existence. And because your soul is the most valuable thing on this planet universe. You give that up, it's nothing for you in any universe without that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what is of value here. And people are realizing that is the most precious thing. You know, it's not the body, it's more of the soul. And if you sell that out, it's nothing to go back.
I shake my head because I've just observed a lot of that, unfortunately.
You know, the thing is people don't really look at this concept of ego. Okay. So you got ego. What does ego feed? The main thing part of it is the compartment of your brain wants to be right. Your compartment of the brain wants people to look at you and glorify you. You understand? There's a desire for that attention, because it's all down to attention. And you have these ones, if they don't get it and they're used to having it, they're going to seek it more, and they're going to find new ways to seek it to make sure they remain in that balance, because they don't know how to function without the ego. They don't know how to function without getting that, because then they would have to dive into their true self, and it's a place they don't want to go to. So as long as you have this society that's nourishing and it's cycling that, feeding that, they don't have to deal with their true reality. They can completely deny it. But what usually happens when that ends, it always ends, always a part of it's going to end. And then that true energy has to balance off. Those people usually fall off the wagon pretty hard and hit the ground, because what it was is those people were supporting them and putting them up there. And that kept them up there. They were not supporting themselves in that way. So if you can find yourself in a way that you can give to others or help others, and you're humble about it, and you find a way to reach out to that, those people are pretty happy, and they're in a very development part, because they know what is important in life, and they have enough to give, and they are not riding that ego. I think for humanity, I think one of the worst things within ourselves and has been really nourished and created is the ego. There'd be so many answers solved very quickly without that.
Well, it's overridden the heart. It's overridden the heart. I mean, the ego has its place. It'll quickly stop you from running out in front of a car, you hope, or certain things. But, you know, we're learning to say, okay, you're there, but I'm going to override you with my heart. And that takes practice to skill it and hone it in. Is I'm going to override you with my heart. I'm going to really feel this out before I act upon it. And I think more and more of that is coming out with all of these changes. Even one of my little people the other day said, one of the biggest things my guides are telling you, meaning me, is to listen before I act. And normally I do, but that particular day I acted and this little person didn't realize it, but I had experienced that morning. And when I acted upon without listening first, I forgot a few things. If I had listened, I would have known exactly what material to have brought with me for this particular day. But that is what this little person said, is learn. My guides are saying, listen before you act.
And that's the hardest
and the other
thing.
thing is we raise our children to learn to do for themselves and to think for themselves and to be analytical for themselves. And then we turn around and then we as adults stop growing. And then we're looking for everything outside of ourselves.
Right.
Because we're looking for that
You know,
leadership. Be the leader,
yeah.
be the commander yourself.
Well, I think one of the biggest hypocrites is sports. That is such a hypocrite society of they teach them young, just try your best, just do the best you can. And then all of a sudden the parents change if the potential of being better at it. Because all they want to do is outshine who they're around or their neighbors or their sisters or brothers, just want that honor, glorifying, and that's the thing. It's just like it's a warped way of looking at things, It's not, so that's the thing. And then you see these athletes get up to a certain level of college and they've been worked up to that point and they get to a crash point, and when they crash hard. And then everybody just abandons them. I mean, it's a brainwashed society. The sport process, it's not even really important in any spirituality. They don't care,
Right.
But it's occupying man's low level concept, so they don't have to do the work they're supposed to be doing. They can be distracted and thinking something else is taking place that's more important than that. Competitiveness, being competitive, being better, it's still feeding the ego, no matter what. So I think our society is just wrapped up in that from the early times. It's just being better. And I can't wait till we're in a society where one income across the world, and there is no better or richer. There is just balance.
Yeah. And if someone has more, it's given with love, not given to be given back to, which is what we do. It's what we do. And I'm not talking about me or you. I'm just saying in general, we give in order to get back. We invest in order to get back. We fund a project in order to get back at the end of that project. We do the same thing to our kids. Be better, you'll get better. Be better, you'll get better. Do better, you'll be recognized. And that's what happens in all your sports. They don't really want you to get out there and play and have fun and learn these communication skills through a sport. They want you to shine higher than everybody else does. So they themselves, the parents, get notoriety. So we really screw up our kids a lot. Parents have them for 18 years and it takes a freaking lifetime to undo what they do. So one thing I can say to parents is start to really listen to your children, listen to your innate self, to your heart self. Get out of this brain about what everybody else thinks you're supposed to be.
Yeah, and that's just the independent person, or there's the sheep going in the direction of what, and they're not even questioning. They're not even questioning.
That kills me, the herd mentality. And then no one's questioning, oh, where are we going? Where's the herd going? Everyone just goes. You're on a farm. You see this all the time.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, granted, the alpha male is the one leading the pack, or the female. But the thing is it's just doing it. And just like when we exit a building, we're following everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's just, can't think of a new plan on your own. I'm just gonna follow them out. And that's the thing about it, is after we're at a point when we've seen everything and documented everything, and then I think at that point they're going to be like, I don't trust you, I don't trust you, I don't trust you, I can't trust you. It's going to be a very isolated situation for a while where they're like, I can't trust anything now. But that'll be the best time that they're going to be looking and analyzing, cross-examining, and on everything, because they should have been doing it a long time ago, instead of just flowing things. So yeah, it's really crazy. I think because I do sessions with wills all the time, and let me tell you, every time I've run into it, every time, family, until their parents die and your older generation kids are left to take care of everything, and if you have 4 or 5 within there's always what ends up showing is a true intention. That group of children can be developed together, be nice to each other. When it comes to the parent's death, then their true intentions are completely seen in life. Their greed, what is it to them? You know, if the parents recognized him as a good child or whatever, there's such a negative, horrifying ripple effect of that tears them up. Generation, they're like done, because one thinks there's a way around all the siblings to get what they want. It's a massive manipulation game because society is taught that there's a way around it. That's the biggest one. The biggest thing I see is like, damn, they will just kill each other to get a lot or a land or access to things, and they just play these games that you think these 50 and 60-year-old children should be abiding by the parents, but they're not. Not at all. I see it. I see that struggle and that identification of them wanting the recognition of being the special child. It's just crazy. Programming.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, I know we're going to be doing a part 2, and we're probably going to be doing some channeling, which is going to be a lot of fun. But if there's anything else that you would like to share with the viewers today, and of course, I'll have all the links in the description, but where to locate you, sessions, groups, all kinds of things that you have, teachings, courses on your website.
Right. So my website is www.jennysssight.net. So there's classes set up for remote viewing, mediumship, healing, and psychic understanding. So, and then building that to an income from point A to point Z. And then, of course, healing sessions, and I do a lot of readings and remote viewings, and a lot of stuff in the ground, a lot of artifacts, a lot of wondering about the stock market, a lot of interpretations for remote viewing, picking the targets and doing that too. So, I mean, I think it's just easy for them to go to the website and look at everything because there's such a collage of stuff.
Yeah, back to the beginning when the word collage came up. Yeah. Well, one of the things I suggest to people, having gone through this with you for some time now, is go in and get a reading, and then in the reading, Jenny finds, okay, you would fit better with this. Like for me, I fit better with the remote because that is where some development and skill was already there, and we're able to now, we're starting to hone in on more particulars. But I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't started with a reading. So I would suggest, a reading, and then go from there. But of course, look at the website, tap into yourself, see what comes to you that you feel drawn to. But if you're not sure, all else fails, a reading is great.
Right. The readings are great. I mean, I do remote medical too. I mean, that's pretty simple for me when I look at medical conditions, and they tell me what the body needs and all that stuff too. But and then, not that it works for everybody, but and there are some things that have to be worked on in several layers of stuff. So, but just what you're called to, not what you're forced to pick, what you're called to feel and feel connected to. I mean, that's the thing. Don't force something. Just connect with that and say, if you feel that feels right with you. So that's what I'm about. So, yeah, I mean, so right now, I mean, universal wise, I think everything's good. I mean, just expect the stock market to drop on its bottom and then go right back up.
That kind of was starting the other day. I overheard something and I was like, okay. It
has to.
Like, all right.
You got to dismantle 3D to get into 4D, and you have to dismantle everything with it.
Yeah, nobody's jumping right into 5D. I mean, I don't know where everybody thought they were just going to skip a grade Not everybody here is that quantum intelligent. Sorry, y'all. Everybody needs to go through it because it's a whole process.
It's a good program to push, though, right? And make money off it.
Yeah, you're gonna do fine. Just and 5 is so far out there. We're just gonna keep telling you, you're gonna just skip over 4. No, I hear you.
Exactly.
It's one of the things I like about listening to you is like me, you're just no nonsense. It's like, huh? Think about that. Feel that. Does that feel right? No, it doesn't.
Listen. No,
it doesn't.
They're gonna be like,
and then I also, yeah, exactly. Sorry, we had slow-mo there. So I think we were talking over each other. One of the things I want to tell the viewers too, that, you know, when you reach out for a session or reading, whatever it is that you're drawn to, you know, the whole thing is about helping and to empower you to reach into yourself, is to take control, take your power of who you are and where you would like to go, whether that's a short path, a longer path, whatever it is. But the ultimate goal is to get you to begin to really tap in, so you don't need as many things from everybody else. But people like Jenny that are here to help you with that is going to help you realize, oh, I kind of innately knew that, or I've been feeling that. And you stop second guessing yourself so much, which is powerful. It's empowering. So I'm going to have all of her links in the description. Please look forward to part 2, where we're going to do some channeling. That's going to be exciting. And yeah, we'll see you guys very soon. Bye, Jenny. Thank you so very much.
Thanks. And I